What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to World Kidney News. I am your host, Steve Belcher. Thank you for joining us. This is going to be a great show. I'm telling you. Now, look, before we start the show, I would like to thank our sponsor, Kibo Biotech, the makers of Renadil. If you got low kidney function and if you haven't tried this product, you're missing out on something really special. Now, before I just tell you a little bit about Renadil, let me read you the FDA disclaimer. These statements have not been evaluated by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or to prevent any disease. Now, with that being said, this product here, Renadil, for people with low kidney function, how does it work? Renadil is a combination of helpful probiotics and prebiotics that metabolize nitrogenous waste containing nitrogen, urea. Nitrogenous waste has nutritional value as the probiotics grow and multiply from Renadil. And they consume more and more of the waste, and that's eliminated through the stool. So, again, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Kibo Biotech, the makers of Renadil. Now, I show tonight how many kidney warriors have been denied for life insurance. Because we know kidney disease is the 9th leading cause of death in the United States. I mean, that's the fact. So in order for preparation, you have some kidney warriors who have looked for life insurance and has been denied. So the title of this broadcast is, Can You Get Life Insurance with Kidney Disease? And if you can, how do you get life insurance with kidney disease? Because remember, kidney disease is stages. You got stage 1 to 5 where you got end stage. So if you got stage 1 kidney disease, and if it's managed, you're more than likely to be able to get an underwriter for life insurance. But if you're on dialysis, that's where a lot of warriors find trouble in getting life insurance. But tonight, on return, we have Minister Brian Borley, kidney warrior. He was on maybe about 3 weeks ago, who is a chef as well, and he talked about his healthy menu planning and his chef services. Well, tonight, he's going to be talking about his other company. Well, it's part of his chef service, TB7 Wellness Coach, Healing Health, Relationship, and Financial. And tonight, he's going to talk about life insurance. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Minister Brian Borley. Again, I want to give him that VIP special guest welcome. Hey, Minister Brian Borley, how you doing, brother?
Steve, man, how are you today? Thank you so much for inviting me back, man.
Oh, man, thank you for taking time out of your schedule, man. You everywhere. You went fishing today. I'm sure you probably did some other stuff. I mean, thank you for taking the time out and coming on the show, man. Anytime, man, we can get you on, we like to have you on to share your knowledge of wellness, healing, health, relationships, and of course, what's very important to a lot of warriors, finances. Now, tonight, the last time you was on, we just briefly talked about life insurance. And tonight, this show is dedicated to that with your knowledge on it. But before we start talking about the life insurance, can you just share a brief synopsis of your journey that got you here tonight for people who may be watching that didn't see you on our last show?
Okay, easy enough. I'll tell you my why. My why was I'm 6'7", 310 pounds. I'm a dialysis technician. I go to work thinking I'm invincible, like so many people do. And a patient sneezed on me. And in that short amount of time, my body started feeling sick. Within the first week, I had a cold. Didn't think anything about it. I'm homeopathic, so I'm always trying all these herbs and supplements, thinking that it would work. But somehow the cold just kept lingering. Days went by, and all of a sudden, we found out when I finally got to the doctors that I had pneumonia. From there, the doctor explained that because of the length of dealing with the pneumonia, I would be losing my kidney function. I was at a place where I didn't think this could really happen. And I was forced to be in a place that now I have to look at how am I going to deal with my life, my job, my daughter. And all of a sudden, I find myself behind that 8 ball where I have to go in dialysis. I now have to be a patient versus the person that put people on and help take them off safely. From there, I would be on dialysis until today, 5 days a week, 3 hours a day for the rest of my life. And I've been on for 6 years, fighting to stay alive on dialysis, all because somebody sneezed in my face and changed my health. I got on the financial side of this because I wanted to make sure that other people weren't subject to what I had to go through. I went from having group term life insurance at work like so many people did to the point when I got laid off, I no longer have any insurance coverage. I had a daughter and I wanted to be able to leave her something just in case I would demise. I was told that my insurance policy would be faltered because I no longer was actively at work. So that means now I don't have any coverage as I go through this dialysis journey. And that's unfortunate. Then, because my health didn't qualify, because I was on dialysis, I didn't have a way to find any income protection for my family. And just recently in 2020, after I became an insurance provider to protect people's income, we found a product out there that would give me coverage. And why is this so important to so many dialysis patients? This coverage protects dialysis patients from $5,000 to $30,000, depending on your age, between 40 and 80 years old. From there, I was able to pick up a policy and implement something that would protect my family just in case I should not make it through this dialysis journey. That's what I'm trying to share with people today so that they think about their financial plan for their family and for the end of their life, unfortunately. I believe that you always have to look down the road to see if everything is taken care of versus waiting till so many of us that wait till the end and find out things aren't in order. We've seen so many people do group fund pages trying to find money to bury their loved ones, and it just doesn't have to be anymore. So that's my reason why I got here today, Steve.
Now, Minister Boyley, Do you find that a lot with patients who may have in the past expired, haven't had enough money for burial expense and other type of expenses to lay them to rest?
Yes, unfortunately. And that's part of the problem. They say it's one of three reasons why people do not, and I'm sorry, I'm looking at you and I'm looking at all of my notes that I tried to gather for this
Sure, sure.
podcast. There are three reasons why we don't have insurance as dialysis patients. One, we're uninformed. We just didn't know it was out there. Again, it just started 2020. So many people wouldn't have known this was out there. Two, unfortunately, we procrastinate. Unfortunately, in so many different communities, we put things off versus dealing with them before the problem comes or before we start going down that journey of end of life. And the third part is a lot of times we just don't think we can afford it. So my job today was to try to give people that information on one, what life insurance is important, why it's important, what types of life insurance are out there, and make sure that you have a financial prepared plan. And I'll make sure before we finish, people have my contact information, and then we can give some quotes just so people have some information. Is that fair?
Oh, absolutely, man. Anything that's going to help someone who's dealing with the ninth leading cause of death in the United States, man, we're all for it. So I'm glad you're able to take the time and break it down. We'll give you all the time you need and help you get your information out there to as many kidney warriors as possible, because you may have people out there that say, Jesus, I can't find life insurance. The only thing we need, Minister Boydley, is people to share the broadcast so other warriors who may not be up at this time watching,
Right.
or maybe doing something else, may be missing it. That's
I
what
agree.
we need. We need that support of the kidney warriors, the 17 people watching, to just share it once, twice, whatever, so Minister Boydley information can get out there to other warriors who may not be as fortunate enough to see this broadcast and to know that life insurance is available. Because there may be many people who may have been turned down and not even went back to research it because they felt like it was a closed door.
I agree. And that's the unfortunate part of it. Many of us tried to do traditional life insurance, whether it was whole life or term, and I'll break those two definitions down so you actually get the whole gist of it. But many of us applied traditionally for life insurance and got declined. And because of that, we just felt frustrated and never pushed forward versus trying to see what else was out there on the market. Products come all the time. This product that I found was a little bit differently. It has some alternatives to it that are more open for patients that are dialysis.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you, I did a little research before this show because I just wanted to make sure I was on the same playing field that you were on, and when you were talking about this. But then I also wanted to have an understanding of what this article was talking about when it came to life insurance. Now, the question was posed, how do I get life insurance with kidney disease? And the short answer that this article stated was, depending on the severity of your kidney issues and your treatment plan, one may be able to qualify for life insurance coverage. Is that true?
Long answer is yes. Short answer is no. What I have found out is whole life will not give you coverage as a dialysis patient. I've only found a term life policy that will give you coverage currently. And if you got coverage for our whole life, you would probably be $300 a month that doesn't work with your disability check. That's one of the biggest issues. You might could find coverage, but it would be an extreme cost, arm and a leg, that most of us that are on disability wouldn't be able to do. So let me give you myself, because I can give you the clear numbers. I'm 50 years old. I acquired a $20,000 policy. And let's case in point sidebar, most funerals are $10,000 to $20,000 just by themselves. That's the first thing. Second thing is I also have a good friend that makes caskets. So it allows me to have some additional resources underneath of my belt. But most funerals are $20,000. So that means you need at least 20 to 30 just to leave your family something. Secondly, whole life means you're going to pay an astronomical dollar amount for premium coverage. You won't know exactly what that is because it doesn't break down what's your premium and what's going to go into a savings. Many in the African American community were sold whole life policies back in the day. A whole life policy is designed to put a premium in, but tells you that you have some savings in a bank account. That bank account is going to have an interest rate of 3%. That ideally sounded great. And many of my ancestors bought whole life insurance. But now here's the kicker that nobody told these individuals. One, whole life is going to give you 3% interest rate. Your money is going to grow at 3%. Nobody told you, but it wouldn't grow for the first 5 to 10 years. Secondly, you can borrow money from your life insurance, but if you borrow it, you take a penalty of 6% on the money you put in. Nobody else. That's your money over time you've contributed to those premiums. So if I borrow the money, it's going to be at a 6% deduction, and I have to put the money back. If I don't put the money back, then I've lost my premium. I've lost my policy.
Wow.
So let me give you a case in point. We had a famous pastor who had a whole life insurance policy. Because he was a pastor, he had money from all of his speaking engagements, from his books, and he decided to put his extra money into his whole life policy. His whole life face value was $100,000. However, he put in $800,000 worth of his private money, thinking it would grow 3%. The moment he passed away unexpectedly from a heart attack, his wife, who was the beneficiary, got a check for $100,000. She thought, because she knew he had 800 in plus the 100, she thought she had 900. Unfortunately, that's not how a whole life policy works. She required us to help her get the 800,000. Once she cashed the face value check that they sent her for $100,000, the transaction was now closed. If you take your money out of your whole life policy, you are surrendering your policy, which should have been his move. Let me take my 800,000 out. I can live off of that. I can insure me and my wife. She decided before she knew she wasn't getting the 8 to do this huge big funeral before COVID. Had people come in from out of town, put people in hotels. She spent $60,000 on his funeral. Wow. So now she's only left with 40. And because she's only left with 40,000, she now has to go to work somewhere at 70 years old so that she can maintain her lifestyle. That's what's unfortunate.
Wow. So why did no one, when he was alive, in the position that he was in, coach him or consult him on doing what you just mentioned?
Because unfortunately, in our African American communities, we are very close minded to money. We don't have the understanding of money and generational wealth. We don't have the understanding of talking and getting a financial coach that can work with us, that will show us how to make our end of life financial plan together. We don't do that. So we're very private and secretive about money, unfortunately. So he didn't consult anyone. Someone sold him a policy that wasn't in his best interest. Term life doesn't do that. Term life is a whole lot different. Now, here's the other kicker on a whole life insurance. A whole life insurance has up to 6 months to pay out. So let me make sure you understand this. They have 6 months before they can give you a check if they choose. If there's any reason why that death had any question, we can hold your payment for 6 months. In 6 months, your family could lose their home. In 6 months, your car could be repossessed if you were waiting on that money. In 6 months, your whole world could go upside down. Term life normally pays out in 14 days. Big difference.
Wow. Now, let me ask you a question. Are you a broker? This article suggests that if anybody is looking for term life insurance, that they should work with a broker, because brokers are able to shop around the market instead of being tied to one insurance company.
The answer is no, I'm not a broker. I am a licensed insurance provider with one company that has multiple layers.
Gotcha.
And what I like about this is where I found insurance coverage for me. And it was at a great premium. I paid $90 a month for $20,000. In 30 days, the application gets approved and I start paying. Secondly, it's able to come out of my Social Security check. It's automatic. It ties into when my check comes, they pull that $90 out, no issues. It doesn't get any better for us than that. The second thing is, because I am who I am, I'm not going to sell you a product that doesn't work in your family's benefit. A broker is not tied to you. He does not care about you. He's caring about the commission. That's not what I'm caring about. I got on this podcast with you to share information, to show and help someone make better decisions about their end of life financial plan. That in itself is different than what a broker is going to do.
Right. Wow. Yeah, because I know last time we was on, we kind of talked a little bit about this, but we were kind of running out of time, and we
Right.
knew that we needed more time to discuss this very important topic that a lot of warriors go through. That's not being talked about in mainstream, again, with other organizations that are out there. And I'm not going to mention any names, but this type of information is critical, because again, when you have people that pass away suddenly, maybe because of heart disease, they may have kidney disease, may have a heart attack, or whatever the case may be, which is real, that especially if they have family that they leave behind, I mean, at least you want to have something set in place so
Correct.
your family doesn't have to suffer as much. They're already suffering from your loss, but now they got to suffer twice again from the financial piece of this, of it. So, man, this is great information. When we also have my sister, not my real sister, but my sister I call Stephanie Jenkins with Jenkins Insurance out of Texas. She's on here watching Kidney Warrior as well. And she agrees with you, man. And I forgot I could have had her on tonight as well, but we'll get her on at a different date. But yes, man, this information is very critical. One thing I wanted to ask you, how does the process starts with the quote for free life term insurance? Like someone's watching this and say they got stage 1 kidney disease or even on dialysis, where would they start? They say, I better start, trying to start this process. Where would they go other than you? I mean, how would that process look like?
So first, I'll direct it to myself. The first thing you do is you give me a call, hit me by email, and we start a communication. But let me explain the background of this product. This product is designed for folks that have kind of gone through the dialysis journey because they want you to be able to show that you have at least got 2 years underneath your belt. So if you're a brand new dialysis patient, this product isn't for you, unfortunately. You have to be able to show that you've been alive for 2 years doing dialysis. Even if you have certain other modalities, you have to show that you've been available and alive to do this for at least 2 years. Under 2 years is that uncomfortable level for most underwriters. Over 2 years is better. So, case in point, they normally will not do a transplant patient under 2 years because in that first 2 years of a transplant is the most critical time of life. But if you live past 2 years, you can find coverage.
Hey, Brian, right quick, but let me just interrupt you right quick because I had a young lady who texted me earlier about this show, and she said, so she said this was her comment to me because I sent her information about the show, and she's a transplant donor.
Okay.
And she said, that's so funny because I just got a new whole life insurance policy recently and found out that I was only able to get a smaller amount because of the kidney donation.
Correct. So it's a double-edged sword for kidney donors as well as kidney transplants. You have to be past 2 years. Now, one, that whole life policy meant you're going to be paying high premiums to get that whole life policy. If you had went the term, you would have ended up being one, cheaper, and you would have had more coverage. So that was the first mistake. Whole life isn't going to give you a large $100,000 policy. Term maybe would have given it to you, but definitely not whole life. So I would assume she's $20,000 to $50,000 face value coverage as a donor.
Wow. So even people who donated kidney have to
gotta do 2 years. Gotta do 2 years.
Yes. Stephanie Jenkins says 2-year clause. Most policies won't pay death benefit. Only premiums paid into it.
Correct. But on a difference on a term, on a level term, what I found, I'll be able to, if something should ever happen to me, my family will get $20,000 to make sure that all of my burial expenses and a little bit of money left over. That's the difference. You have to understand how this policy or how this product works. It will even cover some cancer patients, but you got to be past the 2-year window. Now, if you already have a policy and it's in good standing, keep it. If you're looking for a policy, that's where the issues start to happen. So a lot of people had job insurance, didn't know that if you get laid off from your job, you no longer have insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So you never allow your job to own your policy. You always have your own policy, independent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Wow. Very good information, Brian. Now, say if a person has acute kidney failure, can they get life insurance?
Short answer, I'm sorry, I'm giving it to you both ways. The answer is yes. The answer is no. The product wants to see if you can survive for 2 years. If you get past your second year, yes, you can get insurance.
So it doesn't matter what the cause of the kidney failure was?
No.
Because I saw something about rate tables. Insurance company.
There are rate tables for traditional and customized individuals. But again, you won't get that insurance because that's traditional. You're going to have to find another product, which is what I found, that will give patients that have dialysis issues that coverage. So no, you can't run out to some of your big pharma type of insurance providers and think you're going to get a $100,000 policy from them. You're going to get denied. They're just not set up for them. This dialysis world is very small and narrow. It's a very small, narrow product for dialysis patients. So these are the 3 questions that the insurance wants to know. The first question that you got to answer no to all of these. Within the past 2 years, have you been confined to or been advised by a medical professional to be admitted to a nursing home, hospice, extended care, special treatment facility, required the use of oxygen equipment to assist in breathing, or do you need ongoing personal assistance performing your activities of daily living, eating, bathing, dressing, toileting, transfer, walking, or continence? If you can say no, that's a good place to get insurance. Second question, within the past 2 years, have you been diagnosed by a member of the medical profession with any cancer, heart attack, heart surgery, cardiomyopathy, congestive heart failure, stroke, Alzheimer's disease, dementia, or have undergone major organ transplant surgery under 2 years? Third question, have you been advised by a licensed medical professional that your life expectancy is less than 24 months? 3 questions. If you can get no to all of those, you can get insurance. And I write for insurance in every state. Most brokers can't do that, and most agents can't do that. So no matter where you are, you can give me a call. I'll introduce this product, and we can write a quote and an application and see what happens. You don't buy insurance. You qualify for life insurance.
Okay, Brian, I got a question for you from Stephanie. What's going on, Stephanie? She says, how long is the term on your policy? What's the maximum age to apply for a 30-year term policy?
All right, Miss Stephanie, since you got these questions, let me give you some information. 1, you have to be between 40 to 80 years old. 2, this policy will cover you up till 100 years old. But here's the kicker. For the first 20 years, your policy will give you face value. After those 20 years, it starts to decline in face value. So technically, this is a policy for 20 years, not 30. Most people between 40 and 80, health expectancy of life is probably going to be 70 to 80 years old. Even if I get a transplant at 50, most kidney transplants due with a live donor normally get 15 to 20 years with that kidney, if I'm not mistaken, Steve. I'm trying to be the first kidney donor that gets 30 years on that kidney. That means I've got to do everything that I know how to do correctly, eat right, and maintain all of my health labs perfectly, which is what I'm learning how to do now.
Wow. Wow. Now, that's incredible. What about someone who is under 40? They can't get the insurance?
They can't get in, unfortunately.
There's no insurance out there for anyone under 30 that may be on dialysis for more than 2 years?
Because this product is so new, and right now, first year out the gate, no, unfortunately.
But wouldn't you think they would want people younger that's dealing with this disease and that's living past the 2-year mark?
So when I asked the underwriter why, under 40 has not learned discipline of life. They're still eating. Those are normally the dialysis patients that we see that tend to have a lot of water, a lot of fluid intake on them. They're eating bad. Their labs look bad. They are a high risk life expectancy. That's one of the reasons the underwriter explained it.
Wow. Wow. It must have been a lot of research being done on that, on age groups and dialysis to come to that type of conclusion to not underwrite for people under 40 years of age.
Correct. But, next year, hopefully, they'll extend that demographic based upon the new statistics.
Mm-hmm. How often do they review the statistics?
Normally, I would say about a year to every 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, Brian, what determines, you said insurance coverage between, did you say 5 and 20,000?
5 and 30,000.
5 and 30,000. What determines whether you get the lower end of the scale or the higher end of the scale of
where your premium lies? So my premium at 50 for 20,000 lies at $90. If I was 60, that $20,000 face value may run me almost $200.
Wow.
So you can be anywhere between the 5 and 30. It's just what you're going to pay for.
It's pretty much how much you can afford.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned something about this being deducted from your disability check. That can happen for other people as well if they wanted to do this?
Yes, they will take it ETF, electronic transfer, not a problem of funds. Mm-hmm. So they can actually set it up according to the date your pension comes to you, your Social Security comes to you, or whenever you get your disability, it can fall on any of those days that work. So it's not I need to check my bank account to make sure any of those days that work for your normal checks to come in, they can pull it the day after. That way the funds are going to be there consistently and it's not an issue.
Yeah, that would be great because then people wouldn't have to try to remember it's already taken care of.
Correct.
So let me ask you, from your opinion, and again, you're dealing with kidney disease yourself, and we're going to definitely T.Y. Walker TV, thank you so much for watching from the YouTube side. We're going to definitely get you Brian's information before the end of this broadcast. We're going to make sure all his information is on here so you can get in contact with him. And again, we appreciate your support and watching from the YouTube side. God bless you. Amen. Damn, I lost my train of thought when I was going to, what I was going to ask you, but I mean, Brian, from your perspective, you're dealing with kidney disease. How beneficial is this product to kidney warriors who's dealing with dialysis? Wait a minute, let me go back. Does it matter the modality that you're doing in treatment, or just determines the 2-year clause?
The 2-year clause is permanent. It doesn't matter if you're home, if you're peritoneal, or if you're nocturnal. Doesn't matter. It needs that 2-year window though. So I couldn't have got on this policy product the first 2 years that I was on dialysis. For most people, the mortality rate for dialysis patients tends to be in that first 2-year window, because that's the year that you adjust. That's the year you find out if you're gonna not take in so much fluid that you put yourself at risk. We've all been on the floor and seen people trying to pull off 5 and 6 liters of fluid because they just don't want to manage their dialysis correctly. Sure. And unfortunately, we've seen those code reds when people's blood pressure drops so fast and they check out because they were trying to just not be responsible.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've seen it.
Now, how beneficial is this this policy or this product for kidney warriors if they can afford it?
Yeah, if you can afford this product, it is essential for kidney warriors. One, it allows your family to have a peace of mind so that in case something should happen to you, they don't have to go on social media begging people to help put you away during your final expenses. That's an unfortunate part that so many people don't even realize, whether or not you're not even a dialysis patient. Everybody should have a private insurance policy on their life to make sure that, one, you can transfer wealth. If the pastor had done this better, he would have been able to give his wife $800,000. She would have never had to go back to work at 70 years old.
Right? Did they lose the 8,000? The 800,000?
Yeah. They lost that 800,000. So now the good question is, who got that 800,000? The insurance company got that 800,000.
Wow. Damn. I mean, excuse me, man, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money when they didn't do anything, Steve. You just handed somebody almost $1 million that didn't work for it. That didn't work for it. And now your wife has to go back to work.
Why didn't the insurance company stop them or?
No. You have never seen big business tell you, don't do this because it's going to give us more money. You have never seen that.
Wow.
Never.
Brian, I got a question from a gentleman on my my watch party. He says he was 17 when he started dialysis, and now he's 45. He says, I never had a transplant and don't want one, even though I can get one. can he still qualify for life insurance?
Sure. Tell him to give me a call.
As long as he answer those 3 questions.
As long as you can answer those 3 questions. You're not in a nursing
No.
home. Yeah, as long as you can answer no to those 3 questions, yes, we can get you qualified.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome.
And the good part of it is, I think at 40 years old, 30,000 puts you at about 165, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But that's still not bad to get $30,000.
True that. Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'm reading the comment. It's not a shame that they took the money because they signed up for the policy. That's just how business works. They didn't have to have a policy. He could have put 800,000 in his bank account.
Yeah. Yeah. That was just wow, not being educated.
Not being educated, being misinformed. Correct.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
A lot of money for somebody.
I would think about morality of the insurance company.
There's no morality. It's just business.
Right. No, I understand.
And it's unfortunate. You know, dialysis isn't about morality. Dialysis is about business. When you see all of these dialysis units open up, it has nothing to do with morality. It's about business. A dialysis patient is charged $3,725 per treatment, 3 times a week if you're in clinic. Home is 5 times a week. I mean, that's about business. That means they're making almost $20,000 off of me weekly. One of the reasons I don't take any medicine. You're already getting $20,000. I'm not going to pay you more. But it's big business.
Right.
And in most of us, we had a choice, whether it was high blood pressure, whether it was diabetes. And there are some of us that are on the dialysis side that just, unfortunately, we got kidney infections and we're here now. I get all of that, but this is a business. The object of it is to be as informed as possible so you can make better business decisions that benefit your family.
Right, right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So this, let me get your information. Sure. People wanted to reach out to you.
I'll give you.
How can they reach you?
I'm going to give you an email and I'll give it to you in your text so you can print it out. But it's T as in Tom, B as in boy, the number 7, Wellness Outreach Ministry. And I'll spell all of that out. T
I got it.
B
okay.
7. Yeah. WELLNESS Outreach OUTREACH Ministry MINISTRY @gmail.com.
Okay, I'm going to put that on the screen.
Sure. And you can email me. You can ask me any questions. Because we're in pandemic, I can even set up a Zoom with you and I can walk you through all of this virtual. We'll call in, and there are 3 parts on the back end that a third party comes in to approve and validate you're okay with a verbal signature. And then you'll sign paperwork for the electronic transfer and what date you choose to have it on, pulled from your account. So we can do all of that no matter what state you are in. Doesn't get any better than that.
Absolutely. Wow, man. This is great information. And man, I'm just glad you took the time to come on and share this. Let me ask you, since you've been in business, how many patients with kidney disease have benefited from your services?
Right now, I've got 5 patients that are dialysis patients that we have covered. Most of my clientele are seniors in that 60 to 80 range that either had the wrong insurance, they had whole life paying $200 and $300 a month, which was a car payment, to end up getting something better where they're down in the $100 to $200 range and they're getting $30,000. So it's been benefiting most of my seniors right now. And hopefully through your show, we can explain this to more kidney warriors that need some coverage to protect their family, that can leave a little bit of wealth behind in case something should ever happen. It's nothing like being able to give your child a check for 10,000 or even investing that money in an annuity so that money grows for them. And that's the other part of being a financial coach that we do. We show clients how to create annuities so you can put money away and let it grow at an 8 to 9% interest rate.
Mm. Wow. So you said with term life, the payout upon death is 14 days.
Normally, yes.
Normally. Now,
so,
what about, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Especially in this COVID, so many people passed away in COVID that insurance companies, traditional insurance companies, decided not to pay out. They labeled it as a bioterrorist weapon. And because they were able to label it as a bioterrorist weapon, they didn't have to pay out to those policies. It was one of the biggest scams that we've seen in insurance. My insurance paid out. We paid out for folks that passed away during COVID. That's a big deal for a lot of people. So most people didn't pass away from dialysis. They passed away from COVID and complications. And because of that, insurance companies that you've paid your premium every month decided they weren't going to pay out because of pandemic.
Wow. Wow. That's the biggest scam of all, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Almost sounds like the scam down at Hurricane Katrina down in Louisiana, where they tried to talk about wind damage and water damage, that type of stuff, and they're not going to pay out because it's flood or wind or whatever. But I can see exactly what you're talking about.
And that's unfortunate.
It is. Wow. So is there other companies out there that have this product, or?
I haven't seen it yet because it's so new. I've only seen one company step up to the table saying, Brian, find all the dialysis patients that you can that are similar to you, and let's get them covered. I've only seen one product right now on the market. I'm sure down the road there may be others, but it takes a lot of underwriting to be able to cover for dialysis. So it's not something that the regular big boys are going to do or create a division just for dialysis and renal patients. I don't see that happening.
Mm-hmm. So again, if a person has stage 2 kidney disease, will they be able to qualify for your policy, your product?
Yes, it's not about what stage of kidney disease you're at. The question is, can you pass those 3 questions? You're going to be looked at as far as your medical history. You're going to be looked at as far as the medicines that you're on. And those are some other conditions. So technically I'll say yes, they'll still get coverage. The question is, do we have to wait 2 years before you get on dialysis? Before you get on dialysis and we find out that you're stable? That may be the case.
Wow.
So it's a time thing. This is a time thing right now. If you've been on dialysis for a while and you've got 2 years underneath your belt, definitely give me a call. If you've got insurance currently, but you know you're going to be on dialysis, make sure you keep up on your premiums. Normally, they won't cancel you if you end up going dialysis, but the moment you miss one premium, you won't ever get another coverage.
Wow. Why is that?
Because now you're high risk. You don't fit in that table. So let's say, Steve, you've got coverage now, State Farm, hypothetically. You're paying some money for your premiums, but you're a nurse. All of a sudden, you develop COVID, turns to pneumonia. The moment you can't go to work, you can't make your premiums. The moment you don't make your premiums, you've now forfeited your coverage. Social Security kicks in finally 6 months down the road. You go back to your premium provider saying, can I reactivate my policy? They're going to say no. No, you don't fit in our table anymore. You're now a dialysis patient. But if you had continued to pay those premiums through those hard months, you still would have had a coverage. Still would have had face value.
Wow. Wow. But you know, a lot of people, man, who get hit with kidney disease fall into that category that you just described, you know, with me.
Correct.
And so what wow,
Yeah,
so I guess they come to this alternative insurance that you're doing if that was the case.
correct. So if you have insurance, keep it. It's not my job to try to persuade you to go to term life if you have a whole life policy. All I can explain to you is you're putting a lot of money into a bank account that you'll never see. You only get one or the other. You get what's in your savings or you get your face value. Term doesn't work like that. So now the question is, can I save you some money? Yeah, I can save you some money. Can you invest the difference? Yeah, you can invest the difference. But there's just smarter ways to do this that a lot of us haven't learned yet because we've been misinformed.
Wow.
But if you're a dialysis patient, you got 2 years underneath your belt, shoot me an email. We can do a quote and we can go from there. And it's no pressure. I'm not after the selling anything. I'm after educating people so you can leave your family something so they don't have to struggle. I've seen that up front. I know what it looks like when you're begging family to help you get a funeral together, buy a casket, that when you go to the mortician, it's going to cost you $5,000. Now, my casket is going to run you 1 to 3. Just depends. And I ship anywhere you want it to go. I just got a lot of friends in a lot of good places.
Wow. You in the casket business as well?
Man, I got friends all over, man. You tell me what you need, I got it.
Wow. Wow. I mean, just one thing before we end the broadcast. I mean, it sounds like, you know, you're an entrepreneur and you're dealing with this disease. Can you just maybe share, if someone's watching this broadcast and they want to try to do some type of home business or something to supplement their income because they're no longer to be in the corporate or mainstream workforce, what would you suggest to them, somebody watching this and they may not be doing nothing, they got extra time on their hands outside of dialysis and can't find nothing to do?
I would encourage you, one, to help somebody else. I was going through the depression, I was going through the suicide, and it wasn't until as a chef that I went into a soup kitchen and started helping feed other people that were homeless. It gave me my purpose. It allowed me to understand that I still have value, that I'm not thrown away just because of my medical health. And then I started finding what my passion was. You have to find out what it is that you like, what it is that you love, and then do it. We're on this machine for 3 hours to 4 hours whenever your treatment days are. That's a lot of time that you can do research, find out. I became a grant writer just because I was sitting on a machine 15 hours a day. You could write grants. If you're a very great writer, we can show you how to write grants. And there's a whole pool of folks that need grants to be written that will pay you for a grant prior to even receiving the award or not. So I encourage anybody, don't look at life that it's your end of your chapter. Look at it as the beginning. I encourage you to pick up a phone, pick up an email, and just ask. There's a library that's out there that I dove into, that I've researched so much information just so I could be pertinent and so I could get my value back. Yes, disability says we cannot make more than $1,900 any given month or consecutively in months. But as long as you stay underneath that threshold, you can make some money. I've done a lot of things that my body wouldn't allow me to do, but my mind would.
Wow.
So I encourage you.
That was powerful. That was a powerful statement, what you just said. Wow. Now, look, I had another question. Guy want to know, Manny, he want to know, can you borrow off your policy after a certain amount of time after paying into it?
Well, you got to look at it this way. If you have a whole life policy, for the first 5 to 10 years, they took your money. Your money's not even in the bank account. They're going to return your money 15 year in. So the first 5 to 10, you don't have any money in your bank account. They borrowed that. Once you got 15 years in, you'll start having some money in your bank account in your whole life policy. But if you borrow it, they're going to penalize you. You're going to get 6% off of the money you take that's yours. Why would you do that? That's not financially right. But I understand life happens. But you got to put that money back. If you don't put the money back, they're going to cancel your policy.
Wow. Wow. Some great information. Wow. So, man, Brian, definitely
I know we always run out of time.
Yeah,
man.
no, but we got to have you back. I mean, most definitely. You know, this is not going to be the last show, but we got to at least do this on a monthly basis, financial health segment, because we know a lot of warriors deal with lack of resources, maybe income because of loss of job or limited or reduced income, and anything that can help anyone that's dealing with this disease, as far as with medication, regular bills, utilities, transportation, whatever they may need financially, that you may be able to lend a hand with your knowledge and leading them to that path.
Okay. Anytime you need me, Steve, I'm a phone call away, man.
Right. So again, if you want to reach out to Minister Brian Boydley, you can reach him at TB7 Wellness Outreach Ministry at gmail.com. Wow. Anybody want to give a shout out to Minister Boydley before we get out of here?
Gotta always say hello to my nonprofit, One More, One Less, Black Professional Men. Thank y'all for just watching and coming on. Thank you for your questions, man. They really help to educate other people.
Oh, man, absolutely. Because, again, no one else is doing this. And I just don't understand why there's no information out there to help people dealing with this disease find life insurance for, you know, the unexpected when that time should happen. And this is a subject that needs to be talked about because, again, life happens. People do die, whether it's from kidney disease, heart disease, or anything else. I mean, we're not going to be here forever.
Right.
So
I agree.
So, Minister Borley, again, thank you for coming on, and I'm definitely going to be reaching out to you to. We're gonna have to move down the line because we talked about the dietary, we talked about financial. Now we're going to have to talk about healing, health, and relationship.
Okay. And I know September we got the cooking show coming. So
absolutely.
You got me. So however you need me, just give me a call.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, Minister Borley. You have a great evening. Again, thank you for sharing this great information on World Kidney News.
Thank you for having me. Take care, Steve.
All right, you too.
Bye.
All right. So if you want to reach Minister Borley, again, you can reach out to him at tbwellnessoutreachministry@gmail.com. And Adrian Felton, thank you for watching the show. We just try to give great information that could be impactful in your life. Hey, Don, thank you for joining as well. God bless you, and I hope you were able to benefit from the information from Minister Borley. I want to thank everyone else for joining World Kidney News. My sister Stephanie Jenkins, Lisa Baxter, the Lisa Baxter Show, Renardo Alexandra, Finding Your Will to Survive, Jared A. Brown, host of Warriors Quest, Monica Richter. Thank you guys, Martin. Again, thank you for joining the show. God bless you, and we hope you tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow episode of Sisters Against Kidney Disease with Audrey Bella Langston. Her special guest is Melissa Byers, kidney warrior out of Florida. That's going to be a great show. And then tune in on Tuesday for Ray Alexandra, Finding Your Will to Survive. That's going to be an awesome show. Then we got Warriors Quest on Wednesday night. And then tune in Thursday for Urban Renal Talk with Tamika and Steve. We got a great week lined up for you. Again, thank you for watching. We love you guys. Stay blessed and encouraged, and have a great evening. Peace.